Hello and welcome back to Tuesday's vlog, beginning of another week. And do you know what? Thankfully, outside, the temperature's dropped. It was horrendous last week trying to work. It just got so hot. So nice, cooler weather to work in. And sure enough, we've got a wax oil job. I've never showed you this before. This car, believe it or not, goes back making me feel old as well. This is 2011. And it felt like just yesterday, I went with my dad to Toyota to pick this car up, brand spanking new. It was one of the first cars Toyota put like the factory fitted TomTom sat nav in, but you can like pop them out the dashboard. I'll show you when it's down later. But yeah, 2011. That's, you know, what's that? 10, 11 years? Crikey. Honestly, in my mind, just feels like yesterday. But this car, it was wax oil from new when we had it. And it comes in every couple of years to be updated. And I just wanted to show you, everybody, what the clear wax oil is. I think I'll just quickly show you what it is in its raw form, which is like this. Just this. Just this stuff like that. It's not black, it just looks like candle wax, basically. And it comes in handy for not getting all of our equipment up the eyes, yourself up the eyes. And generally, I think for overspray, it just makes the car look pretty much normal. I mean, you can see where you would go a bit heavier. Because as we all know, like with that Suzuki Swift, these pipes rust. Now, for a 10-year-old one of these, 11-year-old even, they're in really good nick. The springs aren't starting to corrode, which they would have. This back axle would have been all puffed up and rusty by now, which it isn't. So it just shows you, over using it professionally, it does work. See along the sills. Subframe still looks like brand new. Be a good car to buy if they ever sell this one, I tell you. So it's all been done, but there's not really much to see, because when this dries even more, it becomes even less visible. The fact it's all been sprayed on, you can just see it along all the pipes. So yeah, just thought I'd show you. The only thing I'll say is if anybody wants this done is, just remember this car's been treated from new. If your car is already, you know, like my Civic I've showed you underneath that, when something's already 15, 20 years old and the rust set in, the wax oiling, I'm not going to tell you, you know, if you come and get the wax oiling done, say now, and take it in December, and it fails its MOT because it's rotten, then that's not, you know, I'm not saying it's going to work. Where I say this really comes in handy is when you've got a brand new car, or a car, I would say, within 5 years. Like my L200 was practically brand spank, and I coated it, same as what this one was, and other ones I can show examples. But what I will say, it's still worth doing even on stuff that the rust has set in, but just having your mind that it's only like a temporary preventative to stop it getting any worse. It's not going to make it go away. So I just thought I would put that one in there. It is worth doing, but that's why people use the black, because even when your car is quite far gone underneath, you spray the black on and then it looks brand new. You've seen me Jeep, how good that was. That was a one-off. I've never known a car of that age and their miles be as good, but most cars, that thing must have been in a different country or whatever for it to be that good. I spent its life in London, which the number plate proves. But yeah, just saying, when you put this on, it doesn't, it won't make it all kind of magically go away. It just stops it getting worse. So, just so you know. I'll show you what else we've got in here. We've got Kia Ceed. Quite nice little cars these. Well, little, I'm saying Astra-sized cars. I've just got this running because we're going to do an oil change. I've done the air filter already out here, topped up the levels, checked the levels. But I've got the oil filter to do on it. It's in for MOT. I've spotted that the back tyres are a little bit getting quite perished. I'm going to have a better inspection how deep them cracks are when it's on the lift. Tow bar fitted to it. They are getting quite deep, them cracks, and this guy in particular doesn't query about spending money. He's perfectly fine with it. And when you look at the date stamp on these tyres, there you go, 2000, I think that's a date stamp, 2017. What reg is this? So they're not far off pretty much when this car was new. But they're a nice car, these are. Will say automatic, this one, the diesel. I think they're a 1500 diesel. It's got all the cruise control, limiter. I'm going to reset the service light on it. In fact, we'll sit in now. If I can remember, this is live time, remember, so I'll shut the door. I'll have a look, see if I can remember what to do. This one's got a strange little setting on here. It says service in off. So we'll go through the menu, and you hold that down, Let's have a look. Yeah, bit of a strange one that. It just says service in off, so it's obviously been, and if you hold the button in, it says at the bottom reset. If you notice, it might come up there, reset. Then you hold it in again and it just goes off. So maybe at the dealer this has had it switched off, which I don't suppose is really too much of a bad thing, really. So that's this anyways. Like I said, it's in for service. Oil and filter, air filter. Air filter's been done. And we've got this in, the X-Trail, which I was telling you just last week. These have got the same rear ends as the Qashqai's, very, very expensive arms. And these are four-wheel drive as well, which not many of the Qashqai's are, so they're even more complicated. So super, super important if you're buying a one to check that the rear arms are okay, which I'll show you because it's coming on the lift because it's needing front arms as well. Because of course, these X-Trails are based on the Reynolds, they're based on the Qashqai's, and we all know the Qashqai front arms are absolute garbage on them, and they go very regular, so hence it's needing done. The ball joints are dropping out on it. So 2 front arms, it's in for MOT, it's in for service, oil and filter, and possibly an air filter because I had a full one done last year, and I'm going to get them back arms coated up as well. Plus, once it's up on the lift, to check to whatever it needs, because this car spends its time over in Spain, I think it is. So that's why I'm changing the air filter as well, because it could possibly be quite dusty. So yeah, and again with these, the engines in them, the same as you remember the Laguna I had. It's the M9R, the 2-litre DCI Renault engine that's in them. Actually, in fairness, not a bad engine. So I'm not going to criticise on that because they are actually a good engine. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to get the seed into the garage, get the oil drained off, check it over underneath. And I'll get the X-Trail up on the lift and get that checked over as well once the Yaris is out. So I'll catch you soon. Well, because a few of you said on my last videos that you would like to see like a few more reviews, I have got quite a lot ready uploaded so to speak, like recorded to upload. I just a faff to do individually, which I will do in time. But I thought in my weekly vlogs, how does this sound if the odd car that I find of interest, I'll do a basic review on it, not a full half an hour yakking on review, just a quick walk around review. How do you think about that? I'll do it on this X-Trail because I personally think that a few of you might be interested in this. So I'll spin it round. Bearing in mind, I haven't done my homework here. Like I used to do a few facts and figures on the sheets of what power outputs and all the rest of it. This is just a basic walk around. I can't tell you the boot dimension, can't tell you the weight of it and all that rubbish. But I'll do what I think is a genuine walk around, honest review. So as well as working on the vehicle as well. So I'll turn around. This is in for, like I've mentioned, a service, an MOT, front wishbone arms, and the screen wash pump isn't working on it. So like I said, this is the new version. Well, I think there's a newer version, but this is what I class as the newer version of the older X-Trail that's out. So it's a larger sized 4-wheel drive vehicle to the Qashqai, which does actually come in 4-wheel drive. Most of these are nice spec. You've got your full bi-xenon headlights, headlamp washers, which I've obviously been just checking there because obviously the screen wash system works on a separate pump to these. So if we just operate the I don't want to get the camera full of water, but if we just operate them, as you can see there, I know that they're working, so therefore I know at least that it'll be on a separate fuse, that there is power going to the screen wash system, but it is a different pump, so therefore I'll have to look at that separately. I've got one ordered. So yeah, these are quite a nice sized vehicle. I personally find the Qashqai, even the Plus 2, is too small, but these are a nicer size vehicle. I think they've got quite a good towing capacity. If I can find the plate, I shall have a quick look. If they're down there, I would have guessed somewhere in the region of about 2 tonne these can tow. That's what the old ones could anyway. And they've got a nice big back end on them, which is what you want. This is a nice spec one. I think, is it written on the back? I think it's like the Adventurer or something like that. So you get all the nice bits and bobs, which I'll go through. Like so the full HID headlamps, LED rear lights. More than that, you have a camera, has it? Yeah, reversing camera. No parking sensor, strangely enough. Obviously it's got a tow bar fitted, this one. Tinted windows, contactless entry. I'm surprised this hasn't got parking sensors for a top spec one. And it's got all this multi-floor boot in them, which I really do like that idea. I think that's a fantastic idea. Like a dual layer boot. And if you look, they're in lovely size in the back for the dogs. And again, thumbs up to this. Just normal plastic. That's all you want in the back. I hate boots when they're full of carpets. It does my head in. It's nice to look at in not real world, but in real world when you've got dirty prams, kids, dogs, all that stuff that goes in the back. This is what you want. You might think it's cheap and nasty, but I personally think it's exactly what you want in a working vehicle or a family used vehicle. So there we go. Obviously all the tinted windows at the back. It's got all the bells and whistles. This one, it is a nice spec. But I can't get over how big the back end is. I've actually only just noticed that. It's such a big quarter panel to the rear. So in the back here, you've got your centre ventilation, little tweeters, as well as the main speakers in the back. I'll come to that later. Full big panoramic roof. One that actually opens though and works. What's this up here? Yeah, and obviously the lighting there. Under the bonnet, I'll quickly do that. Now, like I've mentioned just previously, this is your K9, not your K9K, that's the K9K, the 1500. Sorry the video cut off there, it was my stupid fault. I didn't put my phone on airplane mode and somebody rang us and cut the video off. So yeah, this is your M9R 2 litre DCI, not a bad engine at all. But one thing that's really irritating me here is this. Can you hear that noise? Off. That would do my head in. I'm going to put a cable tie around that to shut that up. So we'll get that sorted. Obviously it's in for an air filter change, nice and easy, and an oil and filter change. Oil filter's down there under the covers. So yeah, that's what it's in for, and obviously the screen wash, which no doubt will be buried down in the bumper, so it's more likely going to be the inner wing that has to come off to get the pump out. So that's that anyways, but a good engine, these time and chain driven, these come in different formats. In fact, I'm going to shut this bonnet now. Those engines come in various different outputs, from ranging from a 120 brake horsepower to a 140, I believe, a 160. And I think it goes right up to a 200 brake horsepower. Again, it's like all modern engines, it's just whatever you pay in the factory from new is what they get spec'd at. If you get them a stage 1 remap on them, they'll all put out the same amount of power. This has got a DPF, unfortunately, but they all do at this age. There's not a great deal you can do about it, it just is what it is. But the only telltale on this one, which it must be like that for a reason, is the red eye. It must mean it's the higher powered version. Like I've mentioned on these videos, these are rough and ready reviews. I would simply have put the reg into the reg checker and found out the power and told you like I knew it. I don't, so that's exactly how I'm telling you how it is. But like I said, these engines aren't bad at all. Just make sure they get an oil change quite regular, because obviously they're a timing chain. So we'll go to the inside of the car, we'll have a look. There's quite a nice spec in here. I was going to look for the weight plate. They can tow around about the 2 ton mark, which is the same as the previous X-Trail. But before we get on the inside, like I've mentioned, I am going to show you underneath. These do have the poor kind of underpinnings of the Qashqai, which isn't good. So unfortunately, even though I'm giving this car the good thumbs up in this form, the fact that it's got those terrible rear arms is not so good. So the only one of these I would buy would be like this one, where they've been cavity wax injected into them and coated multiple times over the years. So into the interior, straight up you've got your general Nissan kind of buttons of the era, electric folding mirrors. Nice to see here, Bose sound system. So it's nice to see that there's a few options on this. Full leather, obviously they've got covers on, nice leather seats, electrically adjusted seats. We'll jump in. Obviously, as you can see, keyless entry, even though you still turn this thing, but you don't actually, you just use this, it's all you use. So into here, it's lovely. You've got your nice big sat-nav unit, very airy and spacious in here, I will give it that. Of the era, remember this is a 2012 car, so it kind of just fits in how it works. I'll tell you now, the air conditioning is working fantastic, but this car does live in Spain, so it needs it. But I like all this, at least it's a proper 4-wheel drive, so you've got 2-wheel, auto, and lock, which it shows you on there, locking on the standard 4-wheel drive, and then 2-wheel drive, and you've got your hill descent, which flashes down there, like hill control. You've got your cruise control, all the various hands-free stuff on here, climate control, what else is there? Heated seats, obviously. You know, just it's got just a general nice spec. Some auxiliary down there, what's that? Yeah, that's nice to see. USB, auxiliary input. Nice big glove box, huge. Nice to see the original handbook in there, that's quite rare. In fact, I'm going to get this out if I want to do the service to stamp the book. So yeah, I'm not going to go too deep into these reviews. That's really handy having that big area of storage. Digital-ish dashboard in the centre, again, exactly like what's in the Qashqais. You've all seen it before. I love these big cup holders with covers. I do like that idea. And a few empty spaces down here. I don't know what they would be for. And obviously your traction control. Automatic lights and wipers are standard, but like I mentioned on this one, no screen wash. We need to get that sorted. So I'm just going to leave that there. I just thought I'd show you a quick walk around of any vehicles I feel are relatively interesting or different or whatever. Please let us know in the comments below. Would you like that added into me weekly vlogs? If I get 5 cars of interest, I ain't going to add 5 cars in. Otherwise, it'll just take up too much time. But are you up for a couple of walk around reviews as and when I've got time, and as of when if I feel that interesting enough to give the info on? Let us know in the comments below. Now, I'm going to go and get this car put in the garage, on the lift, and crack on with some work. Hello and welcome back. This is Tuesday evening. This X-Trail, I said I would show you, obviously, underneath what's been getting done and what was to be done, and also the faults, what I was going to show you as well. I'll just grab a light. So if you remember back to last week, just on the, if you haven't watched it, watch last week's vlog when we did the work on the Qashqai, and you'll remember these arms at the back what I showed you on the Qashqai. So these X-Trails have exactly the same arms. Now bearing in mind this vehicle's been coated several times and spends most of its time over in Spain, and that's how bad they get. These, in fairness, aren't bad. They look worse than they are, but just gives you an idea of how bad UK cars are, and ones that have actually not been coated. So, you know, you get a good look in there and they really start to go. And with these being the X-Trail, or like I say, a 4-wheel drive Qashqai, look how complicated all that is. Network of arms and God knows what, brake pipes, handbrake cables, drive shafts, wheel bearing hubs, ABS sensors. There's shoes inside the drum, which all fall to bits. Shockers, you name it. So just be careful when you're buying these X-Trails and Qashqais. And leading to the front, what we've done is, like I said to you, the arms were knackered, so we've just fitted 2 new arms to it. But again, like I'm showing you, these subframes, they're made of paper. And obviously we've got these under trays off here, and you can see the level of corrosion on them. This is really, really good, I have to say, this car. So if I'm talking of an example, this is like a 8 or 9 out of 10 of being good. So, you know, make this a lot worse to the average car you would buy, which hasn't been in Spain and which hasn't really been coated. But when you look how thin the subframes are on these, when we've just been changing these arms, this area here, I'm not joking, you can flex that metal with your fingers, basically. So, you know, when you look at these saying, oh, they're an X-Trail, thinking of like the old ones, and the old ones do fall to bits. Trust, there's a horrendous the rust on the previous X-Trail, but they were a bit more what our class is heavy duty. These ones are built exactly the same as a Laguna or a Clio. They're no more better built. So just to let you know, like, if you're thinking of buying one of these and you're thinking you're going to tow big caravans and all this, yes, they will tow. They've got plenty of power, but you've just got to remember they're all just car components underneath. They're not what you think used to be 4-wheel drive. You know, they're all very thin gauged, low quality steel that they use in them. But they're the arms done. They're an absolute nightmare because you'll see this anti-roll bar here, and you've got these 2 fittings there, if you can just see that underneath that. And there's another one, and you've got to jack the whole leg up and everything to be able to get into those, and they're very, very easily cross-threaded, and they're a captive nut inside of the subframe, so you make a mess of that and you're in big problems. So they're nicely done. As you see, the usual what I've done, I've coated everything with wax oil, everything's been greased, bottom ball joint. Just busy on doing the oil and filter. Again, when you've got the under tray off, just a whole pile of flimsy plastic. Half of these you just touch and they fall to bits. So again, you start doing a bit of light off-roading, these things are just going to come off. Simple as that. But yeah, we've been on getting that done. Oh, you'll see this here. How much do you reckon? Genuine Nissan pump. Yes, you can get cheap crap, I know that, but when you've got to go pulling all sorts like this apart, and like I mentioned, this car's over in Spain, so the guy doesn't really want to have to be dealing with like garages over there, so he just says do it right, so it's finished. £100 for that. Ridiculous. The part was over there. I'll just put it away. Yeah, so obviously I've left it like this overnight because it's just made a mess in the garage, and there's these 2 pipes I need to remove, which I want to get home, to be honest. So I've just got to leave that like that, leave the oil to drain as well. You've seen us do the air filter, and what I did do, I don't know if I added that in or not, but I fixed that air pipe that was rattling, just with 2 cable ties, but it's done the job absolutely perfect. It'll be like a different car now, not rattling away every time you rev the engine. So we'll get that done tomorrow. A new dose of fresh screen wash in. Just as you can see up there, they're the expensive ones as well. See that there? That bigger pump? That's for your headlight washers. I guarantee if that's £100, I bet you that's between £200 and £300. So it's a guess, but I've priced them up a few times for similar cars, and that's how much they were. So there's the genuine Nissan part. Just there. You'd think it was made of gold for that money, but unfortunately, that's the way things are. So yeah, so I just thought I would add that in because it's going to be manic tomorrow. Probably a wheel bearing hub on a Astra G to do, plus a check over on it, which they can be a bit of a faff because you've got to strip the whole hub down, and hopefully that there's nothing seized. But I'll show you that in a different job. But so that's this ready. Oh, that was what it had. 2 new back tyres. Again, 4-wheel drive. They're nothing like what they used to be, like full time. But it is always good to have matching, which the front ones are pretty new as well. Matching new tyres. But yeah, just thought I'll give you the heads up. I know it might seem like doom and gloom all the time. You'll say, well, what is a good car to buy? And the honest answer is, there isn't. Buy an older one. Buy the older stuff. And yeah, you might have more general problems, but if you go newer and, you know, any of the things like this go on with them back arms on them, supposedly the prices have dropped, but I'm not sure. When I see next time, I'll update you. But they are still expensive, whatever way you look at it, to get them done, labour-wise, cost of fitting. So yeah, I'll leave that one here. We'll get this, well, this will still be on the lift tomorrow, so we'll get the oil in, get the screen wash pump done, see if we get the screen wash working. I'll get back to you tomorrow. Just a quick update. I'll get to this X-Trail in a minute. I've got an Astra in Elite. I must admit, I like these new Astras, but again, Vauxhall have not gone down the line of having the best of engines, so it puts us off. The only thing I will say with them, which I'll show you when it comes down, is this style back end. I mean, if you look at the older kind of Vauxhalls, when I class as a proper estate, they were straight up and down back, but they've gone along the lines of the Insignia with these. When you open the boot, you'll see what I mean. The aperture of the boot is massively cut off. I don't know whether that's because of safety reasons for crash impact. I don't know. But I'll show you when it's down. But I just thought I'd show you underneath. They're actually a well put together car underneath these, which is why it's really annoying, the fact that it's a shame there wasn't like what our class is a reliable as such engine in the range. You know, really nice, strong kind of spring setup, axle setup. I've never seen many of these rust too badly. You've got your cross beams, exhaust system nice and simple, which in most diesels nowadays you find that they are at the back end, along to where the fuel filter is, nice and simple. And just nice boxy kind of body. I wouldn't even waste my time with one of these if it wasn't an estate. I personally think estate, if I was buying a new car, it would be the only car I would ever buy. There's just no point in I don't think having, when you've got kids and, you know, dogs, estates are the way forward. 100%. But yeah, they're a lot better built now than, I must admit, they were a good car, but these are better, but it's just the engines have gone kind of down. This isn't better though. Electronic handbrake, the electronic calipers, that's where obviously modern technology comes in and ruins things. As you see, we've coated all the pipes on this. Like I said, the exhaust has only got one silencer. But the downside becomes, yeah, nice and easy to service and everything, but it's the one I was telling you about the other day, the 1600 diesel, and they've got the exhaust which runs at this side, which means there's no chain or belt. They've put the chain down the side of the gearbox, which is just absolutely crazy. So unfortunately, it's a good car ruined through, an actual alright engine ruined by putting the chain there, because the chains are known issues as well. So, and with these, I think the only other engine they do is the 2-litre diesel, which, as you know, they've got the oil pickup problem, the Fiat engine with a lot of issues. This is a Fiat-derived engine as well. The 1300, definitely not diesel. And the 1700s, I think by this point, 16 plate, I think they've gone now. But like I've mentioned, once they put the DPF onto the 1700 Isuzu engines, no, like I was mentioned with Holly's car, if you watch the review on that Astra, after 08, walk away from that engine. So that's that anyway. Funny enough, I've got all Astras in the day, bar the X-Trail. Got this in for the wheel bearing hub. Funny fault with these. front left wheel bearing hub has got a built-in sensor. If that sensor goes duff, well, you can't change it, you've got to change the whole hub. You get a whole manner of lights coming up on the dash, you lose your cruise control, and you lose your speedo as well. So you have no speedo, no cruise control, nothing. It's all worked off the front left wheel. And that again derives from these. That one's got no ABS, but the front left-hand hub does everything. It does all your speedo and the whole lot. So we've got that to do. That's quite a bit of stripping down. This, like I mentioned, the oil, drained the oil, new oil in, the air filter. I thought I'll just show you my repair. I didn't put the red tape on, that was already on for a previous repair, but now I've got one tie providing a lift, so it's not sitting on that electronic box rattling, and this other one around to actually clamp the pipe together. And I'm not joking, it's gone from sounding like an old tractor to sounding what these engines should sound, which is actually a really well developed quiet diesel. So this sounds spot on through just 2 cable ties. That would be the difference between me like if I didn't know about cars, if I test drove this car without those 2 ties on, I would turn around and go, I think the flywheel's rattling, the timing chain's rattling, and all it was, little plastic pipe. So, on to why I've got it down here. Let's have a look. Got the new pump. I've took the old pump's still in place here, but I've got the new pump just in there, connected up. And why? Because I want to know that it's going to work before we put it together. And I'm going to be the first to admit, like people do when you're doing any kind of job, if you get a little bit hasty, start getting things put back together, and you get it all put back together and realise it doesn't work. So just don't forget, when you're doing a job like this, test it before you start reassembling. So we'll turn the camera, switch the ignition on, see if we can hear it go. Let's have a listen. That's all I'm going to do. You can hear that's working. So now I know I'm going to disconnect that, because I've still got to take these, switch the ignition off, still got to take these pipes off here and not damage them. The new pump does come with this little 2-way valve, obviously for front and rear screen wash. So we'll get these pipes off, transfer them with put some silicone grease. Always recommend use some silicone grease on these, they'll go on so much better and come off if you need to take them off better. And the seal, which you get with the new one, surprisingly, is still in the tank, so I need to take the seal out, put the new seal in, get the pump into place, switch the wires back over and the pipes, and we'll get it put back together. So I'll come back to you once the X-Trail's fully done, once that's done, and when we're on stripping down the Astra, and I'll show you the hub, what we've got to put onto that. Right, that's the X-Trail sorted. I'll show you in there in a minute. But while I was in what I was telling you about yesterday, I did a little bit of a walk-around review of that of the X-Trail. I'll do it on this Astra. Like, I'll tell you the pros, the cons, would I have one, would I not? So, this is a nice example, an Elite. So it's the new Astra, it won't be the Astra J or K, I get mixed up, to be honest. That's the Astra G, the one my partner's got's H, there wasn't an I, J. This would be the K, I would imagine, because I was a one before this. So yeah, they're good. It's just unfortunately, like most new cars, the new range of eco engines are just, don't get us wrong, they're alright when they're driving. Like, this drives perfectly nice. It's an automatic one, it's lovely, but unfortunately, if you don't look after them, or if you drive them quite hard, just expect some big bills. That's all I'm going to say on the matter, really. It's the same for any car, you know. So yeah, this has just been in for an oil change, an MOT. I just wanted to show you around the back end of what irritates is that these are by far a lot better than the Insignia. I personally think the Insignia is the worst developed estate car I've seen in years. It's horrendous how much the intrusion that is. But even with this, you've got all this space here and it curves back. So if you look at from the top end of the boot to the bottom, you're losing. If I just follow my hand down here to there, to that point there, you're losing from there to there of full height of space. Yes, the boot comes to there, but it's the slope of the boot. And if you want a curvy, slopey back end, you buy a hatchback, you buy a coupe. The whole point of an estate, like with my Astra over there, is the back end is straight. It should, you know, so the roof line ends here, yet the body, the boot goes to there. So yeah, you look at it in the back and you go, oh yeah, that's a big boot. It isn't, because you're only getting from there to that dog guard of space, which isn't even the length of my forearm. It's nothing. A full height space. So you put something big in the back of there, you go to shut the boot, you ain't going to get it shut, because it's going to impact on all this. So yeah, that seems to be a way that modern cars are seeming to be going now, where they're cutting off the back ends of these estate cars, which is silly, really. But It's all to do with style. I don't ever think you're buying a estate car for style, you're buying a estate car for practicality. But hey-ho, it's public demand, it's supposedly what people want, not what I want. Anyways, in the back end, I like these idea of having electronically pushing back the seats. I don't think there's anything wrong with just a lever, I wouldn't have thought, because that means there's two motors to go wrong. And when you've got dog hairs and dirt, them kind of things will go wrong. But you've got your 12 volt output. Like I say, I do like that idea, but I think just a normal pull handle would have done just as good. So that's the back end. Nice big load area, but like I've said, it's not really well thought out. And I do genuinely think that they're a nice enough looking car. But sometimes you don't buy an estate car just to look nice, do you? You've got the aerial built in, the GPS and stuff into this back window, so therefore you just have that little shark fin. Full leather interior, drop down armrest. I've just spotted something quite cool. Heated rear seats and 2 USB outputs. I didn't even know this car. This is actually my cousin's car. I bet you he doesn't even know that this has got heated rear seats. I might have to tell him that. I do like the idea of heated rear seats. I do. I really think that's a good idea. And obviously all the front ones are part electric. I'm not going to go too full into this. This is the 1600 diesel. In Vauxhall do this weird thing of like, nobody ever understands the full black CDTI must be a higher power version than the silver one. So I'm not even going to pretend I know, because I don't pay any attention to them. Huge fuel cap. No idea why they need to be so big. Maybe for the ones with AdBlue or something. Or maybe knowing that they're going to be getting into an electric range. Maybe that was just thought just to add into that. Electric folding mirrors, 4 electric windows. And when you get in, it's genuinely, I think, a nice enough interior. Electronic handbrake, 12 volt output, parking sensors. You've got all this Vauxhall, I don't know what they call it, assist or on or something. I'm not going to touch that. When I find the keys, quite a nice kind of funky dashboard to them, really. Switch it on. See all the fancy needle sweeps on them with a nice colour screen in there with a big digital speedo readout. I like that. You've got this Intel link, which is all touchscreen. Moving down, you've got a heated steering wheel. You know, you're getting all, you're talking Mercedes sort of S-Class standards. You know, heated rear seats, heated steering wheel. We're finding these on things like Vauxhall Astras now. Sporty enough steering wheel, but with 30, can you zoom in there? 38,000 mile. Not showing good signs of wear. And this car's not particularly driven hard or bad, you know. I would have expected better than that for 38,000. So you know, when we're getting up to 100,000 miles with these cars, what they're going to be like. Again, full cruise control, speed limiter, all the usual digital stuff on there. Sat nav, iPhone connectivity, Apple CarPlay, and all that malarkey. So yeah, I just thought I would do it. Obviously, electric mirror, like the dipped-in mirror, automatic lights and wipers, all that kind of good stuff. Daytime running lights. Just thought I would do a quick little walk around with that. Please, I'm just going to get these keys. Please let us know. Do you like this, the way I'm doing it? I can fill a little bit more time in doing quick walk around videos, because I can do this in my time off. I'm not trying to do it in amongst doing a job. Do you like this? I'll only do it on cars like this where I think there's something a little bit interesting, like, you know, like heated rear seats, leather, this, that and the other. I wouldn't do it on a bog standard flipping car and bore you, you know. Like, I mean, I would do a walk around. I love it. It used to be my car, but I wouldn't have really thought many people would be interested. It is nice though, Bertone styling. It is a rare one with the full cream leather, cruise control, multifunction display, heated seats. It is actually rare for one of these, but I'm just not sure people would be interested. It would get a bit boring, so I'll add them bits in. So we'll go along the X-Trail now. This is ready for MOT. Like I've said, full service bar, the fuel filter, new back tyres, new front arms, screen wash pump. Just a few little checks left, and I'm going to give it a test drive. But shall we do the big test and see if the screen wash works without getting covered in water? There we go. Fixed. Job done. Let them cancel off there. Switch the ignition off. So there we go. I'll do a quick video when we've got that hub stripped down on the Astra, but I'm not going to be trying to do too much filament of it, because it's a bit of a faffy kind of job, because you've got to get all the caliper off the disc and the back shields if it's not falling apart. It can get a bit awkward. So, but I'll do a bit of a before and a bit of an after and let you see what goes on with that. So I'll catch you soon. Hello, welcome back to Thursday's vlog. Just thought I'd show you what's in the day. You'll probably recognise this car. that was mine, the Altea XL. Fantastic car, just in for a full service. Oil and filter, air filter, fuel filter, and we're going to give it a check over on the lift later on, just to be sure, just because it's going to be starting to get a lot more miles on this car. So, happy days. I do miss this, I must admit. One of my better cars I've had. MX-5, taped up on the lift with the blankets over it. This is in for a full wax oil. As you can see, these things do not like the salt on the roads. Definitely a summer car. So all this is going to get scraped down and recoated where we can get in. But I just forgot how complex these things are on the back end. When you have a look at the rear hub here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points of contact, 6 including the shocker, each of which all have a ball joint in a bush. Just a lot going on in one little area there. So yeah, I might cut in later on with a before and an after. So there's your before. Only other thing we've got out here, which, like I've said, not of massive interest to me, so I'll just do a quick walk around. This is just simply in for an MOT. It's been checked over. Renault Kadjar, another one of these, in my opinion, pointless big SUVs that aren't four-wheel drive. I suppose you sit high up on the road, but yeah, it is what it is. It's in for MOT. A tyre, everything's been checked on it. But if this is what you like, that's fair enough, but it doesn't float my boat. At least with these things, they're a 7-seater, they're spacious inside. In my opinion, they're an MPV, a multi-purpose vehicle. They serve a purpose. I don't know what purpose they serve, because they're just the same size as a normal 5-seater car, but high up off the ground. I suppose if that's what you want, happy days. But yeah, I'm keeping this short today because there's a lot going on. There's a new project coming on. Yep, that's going to mean I've got 4 cars. The Leon, the Mercedes ML, the Civic, and wait until you see this one. I'm going to do a separate video on this, and this won't be included on the vlog. I've got the Civic over here. I'll just go and show you that. I've already done a video of this car, but I give it a quick once over the other day, and I'm really happy with how it's come up. It's cleaned up absolutely lovely. I'm not sure if I've done this on my vlog yet, but you'll be getting an early look if you are. But I just decided to give it one coat of wax, and it has come up absolutely lovely. It really has. Over the moon with that. I did a bit on the inside, but not a great deal. Just cleaned the windows, the glass, all that kind of stuff on it. Got the new disc to go on the sat-nav as well. And I've touched in a few marks, but I've showed you this already on the videos, which I'll be showing you. So we'll leave that there for today. I'll do a quick video of the MX-5, but like I've said, I've got project work to do. Yeah, I'm hopefully getting an hour out of work today and go and collect the new car. But there's more to it than that, which I'll let you know in another vlog at some point, maybe on the weekend. So I'll catch you soon when we've done the MX-5. Right, welcome back, the final part of Thursday's vlog. There's not much gone on, but like I've mentioned, there's some behind the scenes action going on with the new project. Yeah, 3 projects. 4 if you include the Mercedes, which is a permanent project. So yeah, I have got 4 cars at the minute, so didn't expect things to go that way, but unfortunately that's how today's panned out, doing a lot of sorting out with vehicles. But I just thought I'd show you this MX-5. The wax oiling's been done. It's clear, so there's not a great deal you can see. We're just finishing off a few bits. It's all obviously been sprayed into every bit, all over the place, obviously up into the arches on there, and that's your wax oil. This just dries completely clear. It goes like a candle wax colour when it's kind of in the process of drying. We've dropped down a few of these panels at the front to get under. But yeah, just show you quickly what it is, what happens. We're just going around now, obviously cleaning the brake discs off, because there is a little bit of overspray. There's always a little bit of overspray, so it's always sensible to clean the discs off with some solvent, some brake cleaner, and naturally, as you can see, we'll cover the cars up anyway to stop it all going all over the windows. All you need to do is a hot soapy wash down for anything what you might see on the body panels. If you rub it might make a few streaky marks, but just a hot bucket of soapy water sorts it out, no problem on the paintwork. So there we go. Nicely done. I'll leave that there today. Tomorrow I've got a few jobs in, I'll show you those. But it might be difficult to film because I'll have the car around here, what I've just bought, which I don't want on the film yet because I haven't announced it yet. Because I'm going to there's a bit of a story behind this one. I've got a little bit of an idea how I'm going to introduce the car, so to speak, to the fleet. I'll see if it happens all right, and I'll see how I can manage. Because where the car's stored, I've got access to that storage. I may as well tell you half the story. I've got storage for the rest of July to keep this vehicle in. So we'll get to that. I'll show you that on a separate vlog. So I'll catch you tomorrow on Friday's vlog.